sure many of you have. We facilitated the creation of the Quote to Production weekly process overview for manufacturing classes by working with District 214 and Acme Industrial. Special thanks to Acme and to Dan Wiedner and Anthony Genovese at Rolling Meadows High School. You'll learn more about that in a few minutes. We've also assisted District 214 in launching a new student manufacturing program, which you'll hear more about later. We've also added resources to our website for educators and manufacturers, and this is a major emphasis in the future. We welcome several new sponsors, including Total Staffing Solutions, JMS Electric, and renewed a partnership with IMEC. Near term, we're going to be working together with you on new ways to partner. We want to build on our sustainable workforce initiatives. We need to really concentrate on placing interns and apprenticeships, which is particularly difficult during this time. And we're going to need to work on some tools together to accomplish that. We also need to identify equipment, material, and programming needs in both District 214 and 211 and continue what we've done this fall by developing some project-based learning experiences that fits in with the direction that's going on there. We've added to our website. We're going to make a more concentrated effort on keeping it up to date, also including things in our social media platforms. Of course, we've added the Q2P or quote to production process into that. But the real emphasis, again, is getting students and workers into internships and apprenticeships. So thanks again for attending today. And thanks for being a GCAMP sponsor and partner. I'd like to turn over the meeting now to Kevin Clay, our Vice Chairman, and show you an example of how we've been nimble during this COVID period. Kevin, take it away.
All right, well, thank you. Thanks again for everybody for joining us today, and I appreciate you taking the time. Just wanted to talk just a couple of minutes about a project that we've been working on in District 214, something kind of new. I mean, we realize that we can't go out and visit like we used to. We have to come up with ways to connecting with the high schools and our partners and students, basically without walls. So it's a challenge for everybody. I know that working businesses, and this was kind of something that Anthony came to us from Rolling Meadows, and this is really a neat idea. It's something that gives us something that we can build on and do more of in the future. But this quote to production allows the students to see all the different career paths and different people that are involved with taking a component in production. We couldn't go to Apple; they wouldn't return our calls. But anyways, we come up with a part that I think that the students can recognize, and we reached out to Acme Industries, which has been a longtime partner of GCAMP and one of the original founders members, and they really stepped up to the line with resources to handle this in a much bigger way than we ever thought. And when we looked at you can see on the right side there that, we came up with 8 different sessions. These are Zoom meetings that we're doing with the students. And Anthony, came to us and we kind of put together your agenda. And I think it's actually worked out pretty well. And we have plans to do future stuff in the road and down the road. And I can't say enough about Acme stepping up the line with their resources. Well, the first week, they introduced the company. These are, like I said, 20, 30-minute sessions that we do. And they did something really kind of neat with like a virtual tour of the shop. And they went through and showed the different kinds of equipment, from the milling machines to the, where the parts are stored at. And the part that we picked was a 12-foot axle for a heavy off-road earth-moving equipment. And we can't, you can go to our website and see more information. I'll talk about that. But each session broke it down. And the neat thing is it showed the different career paths that this isn't just about a machine operator or programmer or engineering, but we had conversations with April from HR. We had conversations with, technical sales, people that do the programming, people that do the quality inspection, all these different, pieces that have to come together as a team to be able to produce this part. So, the quote to production, I think, was a great way to start. And obviously some of the information is a bit advanced, but it gave good information for the teacher to go back and talk about each one of these sessions. And we recorded them and they're posted on the website. So, the different companies, looking at the part, is this something they can do in-house? How they acquire materials, do they have to buy a new machine? All part of the process that they went through from beginning to end. And what I thought was really neat was being able to show the different career paths that were involved with doing this, the problem solving. And then at the end, we left time for questions and answers. So I'll show real quick here. Going to our website under resources, you can see more information about this. But a neat thing that a comment that Bob Clifford made, because I think when you talk to people out in the shop about internships and apprenticeships, first it's like we don't have the time for that. But once they get involved with it, they learn something. So this is kind of a learning for everybody. And and what Bob said was being able to bring manufacturing process to the student and engage in meaningful dialogue will hopefully pay back dividends in the future. This is big for our future workforce. We understand that not everybody's going to be into manufacturing, but if they can find that they like to get into sales or work on machines or put them together, there's all these different career paths that we can look at. And you can see on the website, hopefully I'm not going too fast, but you can see that this is a 12-foot front axle for a grader, and they took it apart. They used CAD/CAM, they shared screen, made videos. This was an awesome job that Acme had put together. So you can see that we're in week 6. That's what's posted out there, and they went through the different processes and going through it. So it showed some machining. So I thought it was really well with what they did there. So
the beauty of this is we tape these episodes to put on the website for all educators to share. So these can be used, even though this was done with one of Anthony Genovese's class at Rolling Meadows High School. They can be shared. Mark Hibner, you can use them in any of your classes in D211, anywhere. And in the future, we'd like to expand it to different types of manufacturing, different interests. And I think what Kevin was alluding to is the fact that we're looking at doing another, we're looking into continuing this and doing a few more of these. So if you have an idea, if you have a product at your company and you would like to work with us on doing another quote to production, we would be more than happy to sit down and work that out. It's the kids, I got quotes today from some of the students in the class. They were very excited. I think it really exceeded everyone's expectations. Am I right, Paul?
Absolutely. And it's not limited to this process. It's also, we've had questions about lean manufacturing. We've had questions about other aspects of the production and manufacturing process that are candidates for future topics like this.
Just a couple of things that kept us busy during the first part of the year before COVID hit is that, and this brings us up to speed too. You can see on the top left there, the girls underwater robotic team. This is a group that's been going together for years here, and they come up with these underwater robots, the ones that the girls put together here with hopes to clean up garbage or water bottles in the ocean, I think is their future plan with this. But, the problem that they had during the pandemic is that they had to wait till after 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock to be able to go to use the pool to be able to test this out. And recently, Kathleen's been working in GCAM. We secured funds to have funds to make a tank that they can have that they can use whenever they have the time needed. The next picture there is standing by the machine. We came up with a 5S program. HST donated foam material for the drawers, so now we can keep the micrometers separate from the files and other things. The high mileage cars here, that was a big thing. GCAMP was able to secure time at the Audubon Raceway down in Joliet, where in the past the students had to travel and maybe spend an overnight to be able to test the cars. And we've done that for the last few years. That is great track down there. These kids have to rebuild these cars every year. It's a new set of teams, and the car needs to be built so that everybody can drive it. Everybody in the team, from the largest to the smallest. The only thing that I believe that they recycle is the engine, and they made both electric and gasoline cars here. And I think the record was somewhere over 400 miles per gallon. You can see in the middle there, the picture, that's the robot Rumble. These are 60-pound robots that the kids put together. They have people that are looking at the electronics, people that are the battery people. These kids work together pretty tight with that. And you can see it's probably kind of covered there, that the arena that they put up. And I know that the teachers put this together, and they battle in there, which is really kind of cool. The bottom right, which is covered up by people's faces here, is actually the robotics that they have, and kids are learning code to be able to program robots. So don't let the robot replace your job. Learn how to run the robot, and you'll always have a job. So, but I just want to say thank you. Again, if you have any interest in doing virtual tours in your shop, we'd be happy to help you out in any way that we can. Just get a hold of us, and I'll turn it back to Kathleen.
Great. Thanks a bunch, Kevin. And while we were mentioning the funds that we were able to help with Hoffman Estates High School and the underwater girls robotics team, I believe Catherine Ross from AMT, she is or she was on here, but can you hear me, or did I freeze? Because I froze on my screen.
I hear you.
Oh, okay. Okay. AMT has been a great supporter of manufacturing, with their one of theirs being the Miles for Manufacturing, and they support manufacturing programs for youth like what we help support. So with some of those Miles for Manufacturing funds, they were able to help out Hoffman Estates High School, as well as the District 214 Wild Stangs robotics program. So but what I'd like to do next is I'd like to introduce a really great guy that I work with quite a bit. That would be Mark Hibner in District 211. He's the applied technology guru over there.
We do just recently put together a student readiness plan with it has 5 pillars. The one pillar that I want to focus on today is just the college and career exploration, which goes ahead and it's in alignment with the 16 national career clusters. Now, my favorite career is this one down here in the left-hand corner, which is manufacturing. But we also have the STEM, the transportation, interactive and information technology. So there's actually 6 career clusters that the applied technology department offers classes in. So each of the 5 high schools has the applied technology department. And these are the 6 career clusters that we offer courses in. Now, currently in manufacturing, that career cluster is only at Palatine and Schaumburg schools, but we're in the process of starting our conversations to learning what the manufacturing community needs to go ahead and implement manufacturing at Conant High School, over at Hoffman Estates, as well as at Fremd. So this is where we need our help with our manufacturing community. If you take a look, we have this career clusters website, as I was referring to. This is just a snapshot of the manufacturing career cluster, where students, parents, teachers, counselors could go to this one location to learn all this great information about the career cluster of manufacturing. And then also take a look at what, if a student was interested in manufacturing, what courses they should take. For instance, the foundational courses would be these 4 courses throughout the 4 years. Here's some related courses that can help support that discipline. And then some other supplemental experiences that might help them for our parents, students, counselors, and teachers. The great thing about our manufacturing program is we have 19 hours of college credit through Harper College. And here's a list of the courses that our manufacturing courses align to and offer that dual credit with. Pretty awesome if you think about it. A student could come out of high school with 19 hours of dual credit for free with Harper College. We also, in our applied technology department, offer a lot of different competitions for our students. As you heard, the underwater competition over at Hoffman Estates, high mileage vehicle competitions, Rube Goldberg, the BattleBots, and so Vex robotics competitions. So we're all over the place with competitions, which is really exciting and engaging students in problem-based learning. We also do some mentorships with companies like Northrop Grumman. So we create a lot of unique opportunities for students to, be engaged in real world challenges. Now, about today, our benefits with GCamp partnership has been incredible, and some of the things that GCamp has helped us with is lined us up with presenters that come into class and meet our students to actually kind of validate what we're teaching in the classroom is really being done in the industry, which was awesome. Helps us educators out. We also provide us connecting with companies to do field trips to see real companies in action and what they do. They connect us with internships, apprenticeships, and job opportunities for students, depending on what our students' needs and wants are. They bring companies to our District 211 Expo, which is always, I think, the best representation of companies at our Career Expo is manufacturing. And then what's really neat about our relationship is that Kathleen Burley will come in and she'll help our students prepare resumes and get prepared for interviews, which I think is pretty cool. Students will create a draft of the resume, send it over to her, and she'll go ahead and help them improve it. Next, GCamp is instrumental with helping us with our manufacturing advisory board. I mean, I think this is pretty awesome how we have this robust advisory board that's made up of educators, local manufacturers, and leaders in our professional organizations. So it's always that pipeline of information that keeps us in tune with what our manufacturing community needs are. And taking a look at being futuristic and being strategic planning and what do we need to start planning for the future with our curriculum, with our facilities, with our tooling, and with our equipment. Last, GCamp has been instrumental with helping us with grant funding for numerous things, for curriculum in the classroom, for our competitions. As I said before, the high mileage competitions, the Robot Rumble, Underwater Robot. At Palatine, we've done this middle school to high school VEX robotics competition where these students, high school students, mentor these middle school students to get them excited about the world of manufacturing and engineering, and try to encourage them, hey, you could take these courses in high school and it could lead you to an amazing career post high school. And even Kevin mentioned about the foam, just the foam donations for our tool carts for implementing the 5S program, so that our programs, we try to mimic what the industry is doing with programs such as 5S. So the benefits of working with GCamp has been amazing. And like I said, I think we started working with these and building these relationships before it was actually that GCamp was established. Last, I mean, what this all leads to is student successes. And I could ramble on for hours about student successes, but what GCamp, our partnership, what it's provided is students having an awesome opportunity pre-high school graduation and post-high school graduation. So for instance, we've had female students obtain an internship with companies, and then post-high school graduation already be set up with 401k benefits, making $19 an hour, having their college education paid for, which, it helps a wide variety of students. A lot of students that come into my classroom have come from poverty, and, coming from single parents raising these children, and the stories are just amazing. And I look at where these students are at today, and it just blows me away how thankful I am for these relationships and partnerships with industry, because that's where the magic happens. You're connecting students with companies, and companies connecting them with the right students. And I feel like we've done an amazing job with the right companies. and these right companies taking these young adults into, adulthood and helping them, like I said, getting out of the circle of poverty or inspiring them with a career that they could always grow and, build a great life with. So with that being said, I'm just very thankful for our relationships, and I truly believe this is the way education should go in every area, is partnering with and networking with industry. So, Kevin, Paul, I mean, that's all I have for now. Does anyone have any questions for me?
Thanks so much, Mark. I appreciate that. I think I'm back on finally.
Great job.
Well, we appreciate the partnership that we have with you and being able to connect students to real opportunities. So so we're going to go ahead and hold on the questions unless you've got some. You can put them in the chat. But I'd like to now introduce District 214's manufacturing guru, the guy that started a lot of what's happening in District 214 years back. We love working with them just as we love working with District 211. Equally is great and lots to share. Dr. Laz Lopez, Associate Superintendent, thank you for joining us, Laz. And what do you got to tell us?
Hey, thank you so much. I appreciate that, Kathleen. I appreciate everyone's time today. I'll speak quickly to make sure that we stay on time. So my name's Laz Lopez. Currently I'm the Associate Superintendent at District 214, but I also serve as chair of the Illinois Community College Board, and I also chair the Illinois Workforce Innovation Board's Youth Apprenticeship Work Group, and been focused on that. I certainly want to thank Kevin and Acme for the project that they started this fall with Rolling Meadows High School to really help continue having kids have real opportunities for hands-on, at least virtual hands-on experiences. And I also want to congratulate GCAMP for your 10th anniversary. It was actually in 2009 that Wheeling High School opened its first manufacturing lab. And I'm very excited because we now have labs at 5 of our 6 schools, and our sixth is Prospect High School is being built out over the next few months. So all 6 of our schools will now have manufacturing facilities that are really multi-million-dollar facilities. And want to thank GCAMP's engagement and support of us and all of our manufacturing partners in high mileage vehicles and Wildstang, and in the creation of these facilities. I thought I'd toss in just a couple of photographs. This is the most recent one at Hersey High School that we were just completing just weeks ago. And that's their, and for those of you who haven't been in a high school, I mean, this is quite a bit of space dedicated to this purpose. And there's actually an entire room to the side that's also being worked on. So we're very proud of that. We've invested literally millions of dollars in the last decade on manufacturing facilities across the district. So we've made a commitment to our community and its economic development, and to provide a talent pipeline that supports both their economic mobility as students as well as economic development in our region. I'm going to talk specifically about apprenticeships and Illinois youth apprenticeships and what's going on here at High School District 214. So briefly, an apprenticeship has 3 basic components. So you've got students are paid, which is what makes it different from an internship. They receive related technical instruction, and the employer provides supervised on-the-job training. And the distinction between a registered Department of Labor apprenticeship and a youth apprenticeship really is, in practical terms, the number of hours required. And we're going to go into details of that in just a little bit. We currently have apprenticeships in automotive, CNA, construction trade, cybersecurity, HVAC, and now manufacturing, which our partnership manager is going to speak specifically about, and I'm excited to share. But we began this work probably 2 or 3 years ago. We are hosting somewhere near 3,000 internship experiences prior to our youth apprenticeship program. We've started small with youth apprenticeships. There's probably about a dozen. We were on track to be at double that number, but because of the pandemic, things were slowed down, and there's sites that aren't open that would have been open. but we're very proud of the work that we've accomplished thus far under Kathy's leadership and in all of these areas. And we have students, in fact, in cybersecurity where in many ways, we are not only serving as the intermediary, meaning bringing in partners in all of these fields in order to host students as an apprentice, but we're also serving as the employer, such as in cybersecurity, where we've had upwards of 6 students in those apprenticeships, and we've already hired our first student back to serve in a cybersecurity role at our district, which is exciting. And just to give you a little sense of what this looks like, students who are in youth apprenticeship, there is a dual credit, a college component where they are earning related technical instruction in college credit. And I bring this up because the apprenticeships you may be familiar with as employers, you have typically had to pay for that related technical instruction. One of the benefits in partnering with us and working with our students is that we fund all of the related technical instruction. The employer is paying the salary to the student, but we pay the related technical instruction. So that's certainly a savings and helps you early on engage in a relationship with those students for a potential talent pipeline. Manufacturing specifically, you can see that there's, I think Mark spoke to this as well, the course opportunities that are available through Harper that we help facilitate with students. And we try to align them into a full post-secondary program where some students may choose to go straight to work. Other students may we've had some students that stay on with employers working during the summer while they're finishing their degree at Northern Illinois University. So it really is about opening those doors of opportunities and beginning that relationship and experience. We are working on all sorts of apprenticeships. And so I'm sure, Kathy, if any of these areas are things that you're interested in, or you know someone in another sector, feel free to reach out to her. And one of the things I want to talk about specifically is the idea that in partnering with District 214 for both our interns and especially for our apprentices, these really are students that have already began this career experience. They begin as early as freshman year, engaging in coursework that aligns to their career pathway. Students aren't required to stay in a specific pathway. It really is a discovery process. We have about 39, 40 programs of study. They might start in one, let's say in healthcare, and decide that's not for them after they start seeing their first real patients in a field experience, and then make a change. And that's okay. Others know right away what they're interested in. We have lots of students that are engineering students that end up engaging in manufacturing more than they thought they were and end up moving in that direction, and vice versa. And so the idea is that they're able to fully discover their future, but that by the time they reach an employer in their senior year, late junior year, senior year, they've had a significant amount of experience in the field with equipment, particularly in manufacturing, because we do have certainly state-of-the-art facilities. For them, the experience is around 12 to 18 months. I've highlighted the summer there because typically they begin with the employers that summer prior to their senior year and are spending almost a full year with the employer to complete in a youth apprenticeship at least 450 paid hours. That's a minimum. But there are some times when the students might start a little sooner. It just depends on the initial on the employer. They might do some onboarding during that spring, but we begin to recruit them in their junior year because keep in mind, this is a significantly different experience than what that family or that individual may be thinking that a high school experience was going to look like. They're going to be spending a significant amount of time with an employer during their high school senior year, and that is a commitment, and that is also something that you almost need to sit with for a while to get comfortable with because it's so unique and new, at least here in our community and even in the United States. When students engage in apprenticeship programs with you as an employer, they receive, there is an early college coach that works with them. We have post-secondary counseling and guidance. We have individuals assigned to support that student from both the district side and to meet and engage with you as the employer in check-in meetings and employer progress. It is all based on a competency framework. Typically, they're based on those that are already established in the Department of Labor registered apprenticeship program, although it's modified by the employer depending on their unique and individual needs. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Kathy Wicks, who's going to speak more specifically about this exciting new partnership we've developed with both GCamp and Total Staffing, and for her to talk about that. So Kathy?
Thank you. Thank you, Laz, very much. Just would be remiss not to say thank you to GCamp for hosting this opportunity and luncheon. It's been a pleasure to work with Kathleen and Kevin and Paul in a collaborative fashion on so many different projects. I am really excited to share what's been going on recently. As Laz mentioned, as partnership manager, one of my roles that is near and dear to my heart is this youth apprenticeship program that we are growing. And we have been very excited to get into manufacturing. We have, as Laz mentioned, wonderful facilities, amazing opportunities in the classroom, and these beautiful labs filled with donated equipment. And we are now finally in the stage where we can say we have apprentices in manufacturing. We started piloting a program. Laz, do you want to continue sharing your screen?
I am.
Or do you want me to share?
No, I'm coming to it.
Okay,
Sorry.
I'll keep going. All right, no problem. This year we're doing a pilot program with Elk Grove. Actually, they're seniors who are interested in manufacturing and interested, these particular group of students, in staying local after they graduate high school. And so we have been able to work with a few highlighted businesses in the Elk Grove Industrial Park, FPM, ERA, and Awnings by Zipty, and they are hosting our students, senior students, in an apprenticeship program currently. So these students are released from school. Their schedules are very flexible, which has always been somewhat of a challenge for work-based learning, but with the apprenticeship program, we have really committed that flexibility in their schedule to allow them to go to work at these businesses and really have a schedule that works for the company, the employer, and the student. They are also, as Laz mentioned, working in the related technical instruction through those dual credit courses at Harper. And these companies have committed to providing the students with on-the-job training. Again, the schedule has been flexible and usually is worked out between the student and the employer. Some of the employers, even though this is a 450-hour minimum on the job training for a youth apprenticeship, many of the employers have expanded that. We've got students who are working after school as well as their release time, and earning and learning, which again, I think Mark mentioned, really trying to propel these students and change the trajectory of their financial life and for their family, which this program really allows us to do. So we're really excited. This has been very successful so far. We're just starting second semester with this group, and we've received some really positive feedback from the students and the companies, especially because the students are going to stay local. They're really hoping to form those relationships. And again, that's one thing that this program does, is helps them network and meet people in the industry, form those relationships, and hopefully stay on as employees of these companies who are hosting. And again, helping them with their talent pipeline, and also helping our students build a career pathway, not just a job. So we're really excited about this program and growing that in all of the different high schools that we have. And then the other piece of work that we've collaborated with GCamp on and Total Staffing, I want to give a shout out to Michael Presti. He's on the call, Zoom call with us as well, and we're here to answer any questions after this. But one of the challenges of building an apprenticeship program and even an internship program for many of our manufacturing partners who have been dedicated to letting our students come in on career treks, having career speakers come to the high schools, supplying materials. All of you have been so very dedicated to this, but there's always been this roadblock of how can we get students onto the floor who are under 18 safely, and having this insurance kind of roadblock. And we have come up with a solution. I'm super excited to share that with you. We've partnered with Total Staffing Solutions and GCamp to provide any manufacturers who are interested in being a host of an apprentice or an intern the opportunity to have that student on the floor And Total Staffing will take care and provide all of the services related to employment and insurance. And we think this is a really great solution. And we're very proud that GCAMP is on board and crafting this so we can partner together with our industry partners and Total Staffing to hopefully provide a solution to get these students on the floor and really involved in manufacturing and providing that apprenticeship opportunity where they can earn and learn, develop their career skills, their technical skills, their relationship skills, and hopefully become part of the workforce locally. So we will be sharing this flyer. GCAMP will share that with any of you who are interested, and happy to talk with you all on an individual basis or answer any general questions at this at the end of the session.
Thank you so much, and thank you, Kathy, for giving us this time to share this
Sure.
this great work.
Yeah, this is definitely this project that we've been working on with District 214 and Total Staffing is a game changer, because if you've ever been to one of our breakfasts, that's one of the things that we've always talked about is the problem of the under 18 with insurance and making sure that that the students are insured properly. And companies that don't have that ability are now taking care of that. Plus, game changer, because how easy is it now to take on an intern and let somebody else do all of the paperwork and all of that. So Mike, I hope you're ready, because hopefully we're going to have we're going to be ringing your bell on that one. So yeah, so as you've seen today, a lot of exciting things going on between District 211 and Mark, and bringing in manufacturing in District 211 like it hasn't been done before. That's exciting. They've got exciting things going on in 214 with apprenticeships and everything. So you guys have to feel pretty good about the fact that, you know, we're all on top of this. We're all working on it for you. We've got some questions down here. I'm gonna bring these up. Yes, Paul.
Did Dr. Lopez want to say anything else to just kind of conclude 214?
No, that was it. That was my turnover there to Kathy. Thank
I
you
didn't
so
know
much.
whether
I
you wanted to
appreciate
add
it.
back or not.
No, I'm good.
That'll
Thank
leave
you
us
so
in the lurch. Okay. All right. Thanks, Kathleen.
Okay. Do we happen to know, Mark, how many kids in District 211 are participating in the manufacturing cluster? Obviously, it's not going down, because if that was the case, we wouldn't be adding manufacturing. But do you happen to know what those numbers ballpark might look like?
Sure.
What the interest level is?
Sure. I would say approximately 150 students participate between Palatine and Schaumburg. But then also when you start looking at our engineering career pathway study, we have about 900 in the district, because the engineering pathway is at all 5 schools. Now we also do include the engineering project lead the way computer integrated manufacturing course, both at Palatine and Schaumburg. So those numbers might be a little bit higher than 150, but just purely students in the manufacturing, I'd say around 150.
And a lot of times with the manufacturing, like when we're talking with the career advisors and others, you know, you're right, Mark, you've got those numbers, and then you've got the students in autos that a lot of them end up as industrial technicians. And so we have to pull from a very wide path to get to where we need to be. And so it looks good. Let's see, what else do we have here? There's a question about credentials. And maybe actually, Dr. Lopez, maybe you can talk about this. I noticed credentials listed for other youth apprentice occupations. Are manufacturing apprentices earning any national credentials? Do you know, is there any national credentials for this program, or is that for the future?
Yeah, so actually all the manufacturing students are participating in NIMS credentialing, as well as MSSCC safety, and those are probably typical also at District 211. And depending on how far along they get in the dual credit program with Harper College, who has a credentialing program as well for CNC Operator 1 and 2, that's also an option and an opportunity.
Okay. And here's a question for both Mark and Laz, if you don't mind. How are you guys dealing with COVID and the situation, the hands-on? with the manufacturing students? How are you able to manage that? Laz, why don't you start, and then Mark, you
Sure.
can go after.
We prioritized our career tech ed programs and our manufacturing programs, so students have continued to participate, but in smaller numbers. So instead of bringing the whole class of 20, they're bringing 5 students in at a time to do the hands-on portion, and then flipping the content into the Zooms, but the hands-on portions are continuing in class.
Gotcha. Mark, how about you guys?
Sure. So very similar to 214, when we were in our remote learning in the afternoons, students would do their remote learning in their classes in the morning. And in the afternoon, students would have the opportunity to come in for an hour and a half in very small group fashion, about 5 or less. And they would have to sign up and come in and get the hands-on experience. With the remote learning, we're using a variety of curriculum. We're using Tooling U, which students could go ahead and complete courses. And when they complete a course, it's almost like a mini certificate of completion. We've also included the AWS, which 214, they're kind of the pioneers of this, with allowing, it's a magical system with the AWS. It can convert any device, a Chromebook, an iPad, into a PC, basically, so that you can run any kind of engineering software or architecture software. So with our students, we've been implementing the CAD CAM with Autodesk Inventor. And so students will be able to perform those projects. And then, when I get a chance to get back in school, I can go ahead and run the CNC machines and make sure that their parts come out just fine. So that's kind of a unique thing that we've been doing.
Gotcha. Last question that I have is, what are the students paid in their youth apprenticeships? And I'm assuming that a lot of this is going to be dependent on what experience level and all of that. But Kathy, I think maybe you can answer that one. Can you speak?
Sure, I'd be happy to. So we have set an escalating wage currently for our youth apprenticeships and registered apprenticeships as an escalating wage of $13 an hour, escalating to $14 an hour at the tail end for these students.
Okay. One question that I have is, so if I've got a junior and a junior comes into this apprenticeship at the end of his senior year when he graduates, credential wise, are the credentials going to be NIMS certifications, or is there any kind of a youth apprentice certification? How do we roll that into what the next steps would be once there's graduation?
I'll start, and Kathy, if I get something wrong. So the students have access to earn those, the NIMS, which is the National Credentialing. So currently right now in manufacturing, they're defined under the youth apprenticeship in Illinois. So it's not a Department of Labor registered. So it was a little bit easier to get started, and it has different hour requirements. They're competency based. However, we're likely going to convert those at some point to a registered Department of Labor apprenticeship, but that comes with a little bit more complications. And maybe we find that we don't really need to do that. The Department of Labor one, when it's registered, they do get their final certificate that they've completed that, as long as the employer has checked off that the student has received all of those competency skills. The design of the program is that students can, if you're a high school student doing this, it's a little different than being an adult, in the sense that success is either defined by the employer decides to hire the student and the student wants to continue on working full time, or the student might want to continue their education and finish a degree either at Harper College or at Northern Illinois University in the tech field, in the tech area. And we have had students that have started as interns, not as apprentices, that continue to work and come back during the summers or during breaks while they're earning their degree, sometimes in mechanical engineering or some other area.
Okay. So the benefits of the student apprenticeship is the fact that you're gonna a company is gonna get they don't have to do the paperwork. They get an apprentice that is working for them, that is educated through Harper College or through the manufacturing program, so they don't have to pay for that necessarily. And it's kind of a win-win for everybody, I think.
Well, you're also getting a chance of engaging with somebody early on in their career path and building a relationship so that you can create a talent pipeline and create that relationship if it works for both sides, right?
Great, thank you.
But the students, because of what we've invested in our facilities, the students are coming in with a lot of background in that equipment that we've housed our facilities with.
Great, great. Well, thank you very much. If you're interested in that apprenticeship program, Kathy Wicks has her information there at the bottom, kathy.wicks@d214.org. You can always reach out to myself or one of us here at GCamp. We'd be happy to help you out with that. We'll be working on that closely with Kathy and Mike. Same thing with the other thing that I want to mention is Mark Hibner and District 211. We're all working together to collaborate to build these new facilities, the new equipment that's going to be at the facilities here in Schaumburg. So at Schaumburg, at all of the high schools, at Conant, at Hoffman Estates, at Fremd. And so that's pretty exciting. And it's going to feature, they'd like it to feature what is needed in the industry locally. So we need your input on that. Please feel free to reach out to myself or one of us here at GCamp or Mark if you'd like to be involved in that process. And I'd like to open it up now if we have any questions, any other questions from anyone. So, or comments or suggestions.
I have a question. I wanted Mike to explain a little bit more of the onboarding process, working through total staffing.
Sure, absolutely. Thank you, everyone, first of all. So we can do, obviously, like everyone, have developed 100% kind of remote online capability. What we would do is kind of work with the company to figure out, needs, skills, things like that, work on coming up with a certificate of insurance for you. Again, that would all cover through us, a timekeeping solution. And then the entire onboarding process with the student they could come into our office or can be done remotely. Again, we handle everything. So it's all HR, compliance, E-Verify, through if you're looking for like a drug test or criminal background check. Again, we do that for some of our full-time employees, different age bracket, but we can do that as well from like screening. We also roll into our onboarding safety training. So in addition to what they're getting in the classroom type setting, we have safety training that they'll go through. We also have the sexual harassment training, so they'll meet that requirement. That we roll into our onboarding. And then again, we would cover every work comp, unemployment, any payroll taxes, everything through our partnership. So we also, hopefully can open up our client base, to make some introductions, to GCamp and to the different districts, might get some more companies involved and things like that. So, we're really excited about the opportunity and being involved, but yeah, that's the onboarding type process. But
Very good.
So for Dr. Lopez and Kathy Wicks, you would identify the students, and then we would be involved in the process of finding the manufacturers and then pairing them up, and then at that point introduce them if needed to total staffing. That's correct?
Yeah, that's correct. And I do want to add that we as a district do go through an interview process with the students who are applying for this apprenticeship program. It is a competitive program. And once we go through that process, the manufacturer will have an opportunity to interview the student as well to make sure it's a great fit and they meet your expectations. Yes, and then after that, right, those manufacturers who need that service, that total staffing, and through this partnership are providing, would be connected and work out the details with Mike individually.
Exciting. Very exciting.
Yeah, it is.
Okay, so any other questions, or we can wrap this up and everybody can get to their Jimmy John's if they haven't done that already.
Hi, this is Melissa McGregor, and I just want to say, first of all, thanks so much to Mark and others who have mentioned Harper College. And Harper College does continue to have manufacturing apprenticeships in 3 occupations: electromechanical technician, CNC precision machining, and industrial maintenance mechanic. We do also provide services in terms of acting as a program sponsor, so you don't have to do any of the Department of Labor paperwork. And we are also looking into programs that are not degree-based but certificate-based, so they can happen in a little bit shorter period of time. So if any companies want to reach out to Harper, please just feel free to contact me, and we can hopefully get you started for fall.
All righty.
Kathleen, this is Mary Anthe with the Village of Wheeling.
Hey, Mary.
How are you?
Thanks for joining us. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having us. I have a question, actually. How do students look up, for instance, District 214? I have a godson, actually, and I'm texting him as we're on this. I'm like, have you heard of this? And he's like, no. I'm like, you need to get on this. He's a junior. And he's your perfect candidate because he's like discovering different career pathways. He's looking for a part-time job. So I was thinking back to my high school days, and I remember having like, not a job fair, but like a college fair. Is there a way to get all these partners under a virtual roof where you're kind of like Zooming with the students, doing what you're doing here, but with interested students to learn more about it?
I'll do a quick response to that because I know we're at time. But what I will say is that encourage you said your nephew or your godson to reach out to their counselor. If they're in the courses, all of those relationships and engagement happen in the courses where we have employers there all of the time. And they can also certainly, if they're specifically interested about an apprenticeship, have them reach out to Kathy Wicks directly and she'll get them connected.
Okay, great.
And to add on that, both districts have been really good about, I know I've been on a few panels with District 214 where they've brought students in who are looking at different careers. It's just, like everything else, it's announced to different classrooms and parents, and they come in and they have a conversation about manufacturing and what it is and what you can do if you're interested. So, that's an ongoing all the time thing that we do is, we're just trying to find new and different ways to get to the students. We're GCamp, we're a bridge. So we're reaching out to students, we're reaching out to parents, we're reaching out to manufacturers and municipalities. And if everybody works together and works towards the end, which is, the skills gap someday going away, then, that's what we have to do. We all have to work together. So, but Mary Anthe, as far as your godson, gosh, we always have an open door at GCamp. We're always willing to talk to students or anyone. So if he's got some questions, or if you've got some questions, just let us know and we'll help you out there. And that's a possible idea. Maybe we can do something else virtually. We'll have to think about that, obviously, when I have a better connection. Got to figure out that connection first. But yeah, we're always more than willing and open and happy to help however we can. So, but I want to thank everybody for coming today, and we want to be cognizant of your time here and let you get back to your work day. Is it Friday yet? No, we have our second to the last quote to production this afternoon. So that's pretty exciting. I want to ask, please, if you want to get involved with us, we can always, we have panels that you can speak on. We have schools, students, there's always so many different ways you can get involved. It doesn't always mean we're going to come to you for money. Of course, if you have some, we'd always take some, but we are only as powerful as our partnerships. And we sincerely appreciate everything that all of you do to help us help you. So reach out to me. Door's always open. I know Paul's door is always open, and make sure you bug Kevin a little there too, because he's semi-retired now. So, but we want to help you, but we can't help you until you help us. reach out to us. We'll be reaching out to you. And if there's anything you need, let us know. Did I leave anything out, Paul or Kevin?
Great.
Oh, if now you can have your lunch in peace. And then just a shout out too, I saw Kathy Messenger there from Elgin Community College. She didn't say anything yet, but they're also another resource.
Lots of resources. Keep an eye on our website. It's moving, it's changing. We've got new and different things on there for not only educators, not only students and parents, but for manufacturers too. Okay. So with that, I'm going to wish you have a great Thursday afternoon, and we hope to hear and see from you soon.
Stay safe.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks.
Bye. Thanks.
Stay
Bye-bye.
safe.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Take care.
Thank you, everyone.